This August, VirtualDj rolled out some updates, and in this video, I want to talk about just one thing in that update. Now, I'm going to start by going to the settings, and when I come to the version down here, I can see this update came with version B9583. And of course, what I want to talk about is something to do with scripting. But first, let me take you up and about what has changed here. You can now see that we now have a big box for working with script and then some placeholder text here. You can also now see that this bad guy has been moved from down now to up there. And the variable description for whatever you typed up here in the box now shows at the bottom. And better yet, if it doesn't show all the content, so you can really pull this up so as you can see everything. And then also the verb description that used to be here on the right have now been put up here if you want to search for more that is already there, plus the documentation. But that's not why we are here. If you want to see more of these changes that came with this version, I'm going to leave the link to the changelog down in the description of this video. What we are here for is something that is called repeat start fade. I'm going to call it RSF throughout the video. And what this is for, it is actually something that helps you to control sliders and faders in VirtualDj very, very creatively. And what I mean here is that you can use that to control the crossfader, the level sliders, the pitch sliders, these knobs, the EQs and the filter, all that. So let me just show you an example. I'm going to go up to the settings once more, and I'm going to go to the advanced editor. I have it mapped to my letter Y, for example. Now you can look at this script here. At first, it's going to look complex, but it's actually not. So this that you see here, repeat start fade, is the command. Then my fade is the name. It can be anything that you want. Why this name is necessary is that you can use it as an ID to stop it in case you want to stop it before the action is actually finished. And then now you have the starting position. In this case, the starting position of the level, the volume level. And then you have the ending position. 0.0 here is actually 0%. And then 1.0 is 100%. So it's like 0 to 1. So in this case, 0.5 would mean 50%. And then 2000 milliseconds here is the time it will take for the action to happen. So in this case, we want to move the level fader from 0% to 100% in 2000 milliseconds, which is actually 2 seconds. You can also change these to bits so that you can move it over 4 bits, and that is more creative. And then you have the number of steps it's going to take. So in this case, it's going to take 4 steps to move the level fader from 0% to 100% in 2 seconds. And then we have something which is called the curve, which we're going to talk about later in the video. But this is also very, very nice when it comes to controlling these faders. And then now here comes the action. So in total, we have command, name, start, end, time, steps, curve, and action, which is something you can memorize as Charles never stops eating till somebody calls an ambulance. You can also memorize it as clever nerds start every tutorial sipping coffee again. Right, or you can do anything of your own. Just leave your favorite one in the comment down below. So let's take a look at what this can do. I'm going to save it and then go back to press Y on my keyboard to see if it can move our level from 0% to 100% in 2 seconds, taking 4 steps. Let's do it. So I'm going to press, right now the level here for the selected deck is at 100%. So when I press, yeah, you can see that it took 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Okay, let me just take it down so you can see. So it's going to take 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those were 2 seconds. And then when I go back up there to the same Y, I can now change the number of steps here. And if I say 0, for example, it's going to be smooth. It's default. So it's not going to count any numbers of steps. It's just going to be a smooth movement over 2 seconds. Just like that. So this is now very nice. We can also speed that up a little bit by changing the time it takes, right? We can now put this to like 1000 milliseconds, which is actually 1 second. So when we press it, that is fast. That is fast. So you can change the time to anything you want. 500 milliseconds, you can try that out. Now it is time to reverse it a little bit. We can also start from 100%, for example, which is 1.0 to 50%. Which is 0.5. And I want it to take 1 second still. And in this case, I want it to affect the one for deck 2, which is not selected. Okay, it's not actually the selected deck. The selected deck is A, but I want it to move this one here, the same letter Y. Bam. So you can see that. So it is very nice. Now it's time to talk about the curve. Now the curve here, you can see it's by default 1.0. Let's change it to like 0.5 and we see what happens. 0.5. Okay. So 0.5 is going to start faster and then come down slowly. So that means anything which is below 1.0 begins faster and comes down slowly, right? It starts faster and ends slowly. And anything above 1.0 starts slowly and goes up faster. Please experiment that and then let me know. Now you can also use it to query the position of this level fader and use it to control some other thing elsewhere. I'm not going to show you that right now, just to keep the video short. What I want to show you instead is that you can also start from a current position. For example, we can now say if the level fader is here, let it move to 100% from any position and move to the end. So how now we do that is by introducing something called backticks. So I'm going to put it on letter T. I'm going to give it a new mapping. Let's say repeat underscore start underscore fade. And I'm going to give it something like position. This name can be anything. So I'm going to give it the starting position should now be what is going to be in backticks. So that is going to be the action we want to execute. For example, we are going to work with the level still. So you put the backtick and say level, right? So we're going to query the position of the level and use it as the starting point. And then the ending point should be 0.8, which is actually 80%. So we are going to take 1 second. And then we are going to make it a smooth one, which is 0 steps. We want it to start slowly and get up faster, which is going to be 1.5 for the curve. And level. So level is now going to be the action that is going to be executed. So we're going to check for the current position of the level, use it as the starting point, and then move the level fader. So let's do that. All right, so let's say the current position of the level here is that one, which is going to be the starting point. We want it to move up to 80%. You can now see it has already put something at 80%. So when I press on T, it's going to move to that, right? The current position is 100%. We want it to come down to 80%. Just that. And if this looks like a lot of explanation and a very hard thing to understand, I have built an app which is going to help you do this without struggling to configure this script. The app is called RSF by myself, of course. So this is the first look at the app. So when you just launch it, you are free to select which mapper you want to add this to. So for example, I want to put it on this mapper here, and then I'm going to press in this box to select which letter I want to use. For example, letter T still. You can select the command. Right now, by default, the command is repeat start fade, but of course, the other old guys are also down here. And then you can give it a name. For example, I'm going to give it like tutorial, right? And I want the starting point to be 0.0, which is 0%, to 80%, which is 0.8. And I want it to take 8 bits, or let's say 4 bits. 8 are a lot. I'm going to say 4 bits. And I want it to take 0 steps. And the curve is 1.0. There are so many curves down here. And then the action here, I'm going to say effect slider, right? Effect slider 1, 1, which is the first slider of the effect slider in deck 1. So this is it. So we can actually play it and see how it's going to be. Okay, it's playing on repeat because we have the loop here. Now, there are other modes of preview here. Right now we're on the jog wheel, but we can say knob, which is actually the fader that we are talking about, the effect slider. Okay, so we can play and see. That's how it would move. It's going to take 4 bits to move from 0% to 80%. You can now see that 80% is here, 100% would be down. You can as well see that if it was a crossfader, okay, from 0% to 80%. Right, so let's say we want to change this to 2000 milliseconds. We can also change the number of steps, let's say to 3, and play. Yeah, so that is it. Now, most interestingly, if you're working with beats as the time here, you can put the number of beats, I mean the BPM here, so that you can trace and see the number of steps if they're actually falling on the beats. But this is not very important. What is very interesting is the script. Now you can see the generated script here. Existing script here is what was already mapped on T before we started mapping, but this is what we came up with. So after all these changes you made, this is the mapping that came. So when we say inject mapping, this script now is going to replace the one that was there before in this mapper here, the letter T. So let's inject mapping. It's replaced. So now when we go to VirtualDj and press letter T, we expect it to move this slider here. Okay, T. Okay, 3 steps. If you want to try the app out, please get it from the link in the description down below and go check it out yourself. Go through it, and that is it. For any problems installing the app or any questions about the script here, I am ready for any questions. Please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, and I'll see you in the next video, obviously.